Welcome back. Millions of Americans will suffer from depression at some point in their lives, and for some, it can be a very serious and recurring problem. Medication helps many, but not all depressed patients, and that's why doctors are developing other ways to treat it. Here to explain, we have Dr. Scott West from Nashville TMS. Dr. West, welcome back to Midday.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you. All right, so for people who aren't familiar, what is TMS?
TMS is transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's a treatment option that was approved by the FDA a little over 2 years ago for the treatment of major depression that doesn't respond to a treatment course of antidepressants. Major depression is different than the depression we all experience. Major depression involves sadness, lack of activity, decreased pleasure, lack of concentration, withdrawal that goes on for weeks and months and even years at times. The traditional treatments of psychotherapy and medication work most of the time, right, but when they don't, TMS becomes an option. And what it is a very strong magnet, like is used in an MRI machine, that pulses very rapidly. When it's placed over the left part of the scalp, it stimulates certain parts of the brain that we know are involved in mood regulation. That's done for 5 days a week for 4 to 6 weeks, and we have some pretty good responses to that.
Wow. Now, every time they come in, how long is it?
37 minutes.
37 minutes. That's the treatment.
3,000 pulses.
Gotcha. Now tell us about some results from patients with Nashville TMS.
Well, we have had some very good results. Before people have treatment and after treatment, we do rating scales where we assess the severity of those symptoms of sleep, concentration, social interaction, and so forth. And so far, we've had an over 80% reduction in the symptoms after the course of treatment. Wow.
Have you seen a change in the everyday lives of some of these patients?
We've seen a lot of changes. A young man in his mid-30s who I first saw with his wife, and his wife said he used to be a really fun guy and he's just not fun anymore, doesn't do things with the family, with the children like he used to. And then as we neared the end of treatment, he went to a family reunion and he came back and said he had a great time, was involved spontaneously with activities with his children, and it was just really exciting to hear. Yeah,
it is wonderful to hear those stories. Now, a lot of people may have the question, after a patient receives something like this treatment, TMS, would medication be required? Would they need to go back on medication? No. Explain how that works.
It's not required. We don't initially take people off of medication. Most people that come to us are already on some substantial medications at times. But what we found is most of the people are able to at least reduce medicine, if not totally get off of medicine, and not have the need anymore. One of our other patients came in earlier this week, early in the morning, and told me as she was walking back to my office that her cat that she'd had for 13 years went out the door the night before and hadn't come back, and she was very worried about it. But she said that she wasn't overly worried, and she hadn't even needed to take any additional medication that morning. And
prior, it would have
she said it would have just been devastating to her. She wouldn't have been able to function, probably wouldn't have been able to make the appointment. The good news is I called later in the day and she found the cat.
She found the cat. So we've got a good ending as well, but she was able to manage it so much easier. Yes. Dr. West, great to see you.
Thank you, Holly.
Thank you for your time. If you or a loved one is suffering from depression and medication is not working, call Nashville TMS today to find out if you're a candidate for TMS therapy. The number is 615-327-4877, or log on to the More at Midday section of WSMV.com for a link to their website.